So over the past couple weeks, we've talked about bad card game anime. We've talked about middling card game anime. Let us now talk about a legitimately good card game anime. No. Not even just good. Let's say a great card game anime. Let us take it one step further and say this could go down as one of the greatest card game anime. Now, granted, that isn't that hard. And also, before anyone thinks I'm just here to knock the other two franchises, Cardfight Vanguard just had like its best episode ever like 2 weeks ago. And Yu-Gi-Oh has a history of like going from 0 to 100 in like an episode. So all those things can happen. But I'd like to take a little bit and talk about why Shadowverse is working and the other two are kind of struggling to find their footing at the moment. Because I think there's a very clear difference going on here. And I think it's very much the reason one is succeeding right now. And that is the characters. And more importantly, how it prioritizes character over plot. Now, obviously, there is a plot they've been hinting at. There is some sort of like techno cult and this like group of elite Shadowverse characters that include the two leads from the last show we don't give a fuck about, and probably something else, but it's not in the forefront. It's almost like Cygames or whoever's in charge of the show said, you got to do this. And they were like, okay, well, we'll do that eventually. But for now, we want to focus on just the most likable, well-developed cast of characters you'll ever find in one of these kinds of shows. And I want to take a few minutes just to talk about that. First and foremost, let's start off with what is by far the best character of the past dozen. I don't know how long ago I did the last one of these. Shion. Yeah, which is interesting because I've kind of seen a little bit of pushback towards Shion over the course of this tournament arc. And the reason for that, for a lot of people, is that pretty much the minute she got separated from everyone else and had to go fight on her own, she went right back to her old habits and she leaned right back into Gentleman and just completely relapsed. And this is bothering a lot of people. And while I get where those people are coming from, I would like to say that think of people you know in real life. Think of people you know who have had issues like Shion, rather it's shyness or anxiety or any number of problems like that. And think about what happens when that person, it might be you, it might be someone else, doesn't have that support system in place to help them keep going. That is what happened here. Shion was able to start bettering herself because of the others, because she made friends who were slowly getting her to let her walls come down and understand it's okay to try and make friends and meet new people. And when she couldn't be around them, she did do what I think a lot of people tend to do in real life and just fell right back into those old habits. And it's such an easy thing to do. And you see that the minute she like becomes Gentleman again and just starts playing from an internet cafe, she starts winning left and right. It's so easy to re-find that reinforcement that made you think living your life the way you don't want to anymore is the way to do things. Like, that's what we see here. And then when she meets someone who directly goes against that idea that you can just sort of like live your life behind a computer or not be around people or actually go out and experience things, I love how that is then represented in the form of just everyone in her head, like trying to get her to come back out again. She has really gotten this idea that they are the ones who can help her move forward and keep her going. And the idea that they're not with her, it genuinely bothers her and it genuinely makes her feel like she can't do it. That is such a strong feeling and such a great representation. I also like it's not screamed at you. This isn't like a weaker show. This isn't like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush where I feel like she would then look at the camera and go be like, without my friends, I can't do anything. Just a fun scene of everyone in chibi form showing what it's like inside her head right now is a very strong scene. I kept expecting, considering they brought up that there's like a techno cult or something in this show, I thought that's where this arc was going, was that they would then recruit her and she'd like join the bad guys. But no, it genuinely feels like her arc right now is her being able to finally come to terms with who she is as a person and how she herself can get up and move forward, and how she doesn't necessarily need everybody all the time to help her with that. And it's probably my favorite thing right now, and it's where I want to see her character going the most. Next, we actually have Light and Mikado for a change. Yeah, I know I've been pretty critical of Light in these videos. I think he's probably the weakest character, but somehow gets a lot of the best lines and moments. And this sort of rivalry he has with Mikado is so fucking enjoyable to watch. Like, the whole thing is that Mikado is this narcissistic asshole who just believes that the superior are the superior and everyone else better lick his feet and or lick his shoe or whatever and just fall in line. That's how he feels about everybody. On the other end of the spectrum, you have Light, who is someone who doesn't necessarily feel like he has a purpose, doesn't necessarily really feel like there's a greater meaning for himself or anything, but just that because he joined up with Seventh Flame and met everybody, he's developed this appreciation for what Shadowverse can bring to him and to other people. So when he sees someone like Mikado, who just sort of like uses it to bully people and just prove his superiority, it makes him want to prove him wrong. But what I like is he's then never yelling, he's never screaming, he's never doing the over-the-top masculine thing you always see in these kinds of shows. It's always just, I will get stronger. I will try and do better. I will learn more. I will try and succeed, and I will keep going. And as someone like Mikado, who believes in inherent entitlement and believes that he's just ahead of everybody, that pisses him off so much. And every time he gets pissed off, I just smile. It's so fun to watch. Like, just that Mikado, just Light, just through being himself and like holding on to that endearing spirit and desire to improve, can get under this guy's skin so much, is just so satisfying and enjoyable to see. As far as everyone else goes, everyone has had a pretty simplistic story progression. You have Subaru finally taking on his brother and losing, but still wanting to keep forward, which I like. You have Itsuki's rivalry with, why am I blanking on that guy's name? And I literally had it up before. The edgy looking dude. That I also like, the idea that Itsuki still tries to just be this calm guy. Ren getting to find the one other Toku loving girl in the Shadowverse community and beating her ass and now technically being ahead of everyone else. So enjoyable. I am a Ren stan. She is best girl. You cannot convince me otherwise. How old is she? 13. Oh fuck, let's move on. And finally you have, what's her face? Tsubasa getting to take on the teacher and sort of seeing how Tsubasa has sort of gotten rid of that jaded, cynical side of herself and embraced her own strength and ability to move forward. Especially after how much she's had her relationship with Ren and her ability to help out Shion and all that. It's really nice to watch. Everyone is so likable and enjoyable. And this goes to the point of what I really want to highlight with this video, that this is a show about characters. Card game anime are inherently ridiculous and stupid because they are toy commercials. And how Yu-Gi-Oh! And Cardfight Vanguard have tried to overcome that stigma and be their own things is a big aspect of their franchise's identity. But now we've kind of are reaching this point where I feel like both maybe don't entirely know what to do. Rather, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Not really knowing what to do with its really ridiculous plot at the moment, or Vanguard not really seeming to know if it just wants to be all character or have a bigger plot and narrative and then how to focus that into 12 episodes. I really think they could take a lesson from Shadowverse. The fact that we've had 50 episodes of this show and I have been able to follow everyone's arcs and everyone's progression and want to do it. The fact that I remember where they have all started and to see where they have now all ended up at this point in the story, I think goes to show how well the writing is, how great the character development is. These are really all I want out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Vanguard at this point. I don't care about the end of the world. I don't care about aliens or AI or any of that. Just show a bunch of kids and how they learn to like better themselves and meet new people and enjoy card games and have fun in that. Because you know what? That's what card games bring people in real life. And if you would have told me like a year or two ago, Shadowverse, the worst card game anime ever, would be followed up by such a great show that gets such a great job of writing characters down like this. I wouldn't have believed you, but I am so damn glad it's here. And I am so excited to see where this story will pick up again when it comes back in July. And I really want this to be the thing that shows, like, say, to Yu-Gi-Oh! That if Vanguard can make 12 episodes work, and if Shadowverse can come back strong and show that people will care, even if they're not getting like 45 episodes a year, I'm hoping this will be a turning point, and that the competition is what will make these shows great. Call me a dirty capitalist all you want, but I do believe we need these shows to feel like rivals to each other to get the better storytelling. But what do you think about Shadowverse Flame? I know I really only talked about 2 real major things, but those were the things that stuck out to me the most. But what stuck out to you? And tell me that in the comment section below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe. And remember, Ren is best girl.